You cried at something you can't explain. Not heartbreak, not loss. Maybe a stranger held the door and said something kind. Maybe a song hit differently than it should have. Maybe a scene in a movie made your eyes fill up and no one else in the room even blinked. And in that exact moment, before the feeling even finished, something else came. Embarrassment. An internal voice that said, "What's wrong with you? Get it together." What if that voice has been wrong your entire life? We are raised inside a culture that reads tears as malfunction, a leak, a crack, a failure of control. It starts early, a scraped knee, a harsh word on the playground, and the response from every adult around you was some version of the same thing. Stop, be strong, don't cry. For most people, that message eventually works. They stop showing it. But some people can't. Not because something is broken in them, because their brain was literally built differently. In the 1990s, psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron discovered something that reframed the entire conversation. She called it the highly sensitive person, an estimated 15 to 20% of the population, not emotionally weak people, not people who need to toughen up, people whose nervous systems are more finely tuned, more responsive, more thorough, more complete in feeling. Neuroimaging research backs this up. Highly sensitive individuals show significantly stronger activation in the insula and the mirror neuron system, the exact brain regions responsible for empathy, awareness, and emotional depth. Their brains aren't overreacting. They're picking up signals that other brains are simply filtering out. And here's where it gets genuinely surprising, because this shows up in ways most people would never connect back to crying. Have you ever watched a stranger cry, someone you don't know, will never see again, and felt your own chest tighten? Felt your eyes get heavy before you even decided to feel anything? That's not weakness. That's what psychologists call empathic resonance. It's the neurological process by which you don't just recognize someone else's emotional state, you mirror it internally, in your chest, in your throat, in your eyes. For people who cry easily, that mirror doesn't just activate, it runs deep. A friend trying to hold it together, a face on the news, an expression caught across a crowded room. They don't just see it, they absorb it, and that comes at a cost. They leave social situations completely drained in ways others cannot understand. Not because they're fragile, because they were more present in that room than anyone else in it. But what happens to all of that emotional weight once it's inside them? This is the part that explains everything. People who cry easily don't just feel things harder, they feel things longer. The conversation ends, everyone else moves on. They go home and replay the look on someone's face. They lie awake at 2 a.m. revisiting an exchange from 3 years ago and feel the original ache return, fully, completely. Psychologists call this emotional rumination. In highly sensitive people, it's not a choice, it's almost a reflex. Now here's what almost no one says about that same trait. The writers who make you feel completely understood, the artists who put language to things you couldn't name, the people who read a room before anyone else knows it's shifted, they are almost always the ones who kept feeling long after everyone else let go. The same depth that keeps them up at night is what makes them capable of seeing further into human experience than most people ever bother to look. And then there's the biology of the tear itself. For decades, science dismissed emotional crying as purely social, a learned signal for distress. Recent research tells a completely different story. Emotional tears have a measurably different chemical composition than the tears your eyes produce for basic lubrication. They contain elevated levels of cortisol and adrenocorticotropic hormone, the biochemical byproducts of stress. Meaning, when you cry, your body may actually be expelling emotional stress in a physical form. The release you feel after a real cry, that pressure lifting, that something settling, that's not coincidence. That's your nervous system completing a cycle it physiologically needed to finish. The person who cries when they need to isn't falling apart, they're regulating. Think of it this way, a pressure valve that works isn't a flaw in the machine, it's what keeps the machine from breaking. Here's what almost never gets said in any conversation about emotional people. They are often exceptional at the things that matter most. They hear what's not being said. They notice the forced smile that doesn't reach the eyes. They sense a shift in the room before words confirm it. They don't have to be told to care. They already do, consistently, often at their own expense. They haven't armored over. They haven't traded their sensitivity for the performance of being fine. And in a world that increasingly rewards emotional distance, that is becoming genuinely rare. So let's reconsider who the strong person in the room actually is. Is it the one who never flinches, who's mastered being visibly unmoved by everything? Or is it the one who still feels it, who, despite everything this world does to discourage it, is still genuinely connected to the full weight of what it means to be human? Because crying easily doesn't mean you're fragile. It means your empathy is real, not performed. It means your emotional awareness runs at a higher resolution than most people operate on. It means you're paying attention in a way most people stopped doing a long time ago. That's not a flaw waiting to be fixed. That is strength in a form most people will never fully understand. If you've ever been made to feel ashamed for being sensitive, drop a comment right now. Tell me, what did they say to you? And if this reframed the way you see yourself even slightly, subscribe, because there's a lot more about your inner world that psychology can explain, and most of it will surprise you.
If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button below so you never miss our next one. Understand your mind, upgrade your life. See you next time.